Hey sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to give my final thoughts to the Strongsville show, as well as show off or give a better look at the cards that I picked up and some other things that I was gifted at the show. And then I'm going to end the video with some scenes and shots that I took at the show. So for my final thoughts, I did give some thoughts in my day one and day two recap videos, but all in all, I thought the show was great. What really made it a special show were all the YouTubers that attended. I think the Friday night event probably had at least 50 YouTubers, either content creators or those who follow the various YouTube channels. And it was just a great time. For the show itself, I think the size of the show, the space, really was nice, especially with the YouTubers that were there. The National is a much larger space, and even though there are probably more YouTubers that attend the National, you could walk around for maybe an hour or two and maybe barely bump into any other YouTubers just because of the vast space. What was nice about Strongsville is it was basically in an ice rink. And because of the smaller size, you'd bump into fellow YouTubers all the time. And so you could chat with them, you could get their advice on a card, you could check out what they're looking at, and so on. And so it was a lot better interaction in terms of the YouTubers that were there than the National. As for the cards themselves, I thought there was a great variety of vintage cards. If you were into non-graded cards, there were plenty of tables that had non-graded vintage cards. If you're into vintage or graded vintage cards, there was a really good selection as well. I thought there were more SGC slabs than PSA. Of course, I'm a PSA slab guy. So if I have any negative points about the Strongsville show, I wish there were a little bit more PSA slabbed vintage cards, especially in that mid-grade, which is where I tend to buy my vintage cards. There were a lot of high-end PSA slabbed vintage cards, PSA 7s, 8s, 9s, things like that, way out of my price range. There was some amazing cards for sale there. Again, overall, will I go to Strongsville next year? Absolutely. I think I'm going to have that on my calendar for next year, especially if there are some YouTubers that go as well. And from what I've heard from the ones that were there, they had a great time and want to go next year as well. So as I said, I'm going to turn the camera around here, give a better look at some of the cards that I picked up. It was really hard at the hotel with the lighting and everything to get a really good look at the cards that I picked up. So I'm going to give a better look at those pickups and also give you an insight as to what the asking price for the card was and the deal that I was able to get, just to give you a sense of what types of deals were to be had at the show there. And also show off some of the gifts that I got from some fellow YouTubers, which was amazing. And then I'm going to finish things off with some shots of the show and some of the cards in the display cases. So let's go take a look. All right, I'm going to start off with some of the items that were gifted to me by fellow YouTubers. I'm going to start off with some of the stuff I got from James Gillum. He was not only my travel buddy, but my hotel roommate. We had such a great time talking about not only cards, but life and family, and just got to know each other a whole lot better than we had in the past. So it was great spending that time with James. And when he drove down here to my house, and then we headed out. And when he first got here, he gave me some things that were just awesome. First, of course, as a lot of YouTubers do, he had a custom card that he gave me. really cool in the 1952 Topps design. And gave me this 2024 Stadium Club. Love that image of Boggs. And another Boggs from, let's see if I can get this, 1992 Flair. This is the Sitco, the Performer. So you can see down here the Sitco little set that they put together, and Boggs was included in that set. And then he really surprised me with a couple of, I believe they're 1961 baseball scoops. And if you've seen some of John Mangini's and Dylan Double D vintage baseball cards, they've been promoting these new magnetic holders that sort of look like slabs. And he gave me two 1961 baseball scoops. Here's the first one. Ted Williams hits 406 for season, and he even did a little custom Wade Boggs fan label there. And I had never seen these scoops. I've maybe seen some on eBay and things like that, but these are the first ones that I've ever owned. So not only did he give me this Ted Williams, but he gave me a second Ted Williams. This one, Ted Williams Hero of All-Star Game. And he did a slightly different label for that one. So those were two really cool cards that I just was amazed that he gifted these to me. So thank you so much, James. But he wasn't done there. In addition to that, he gave me this original package, Drake's, with the uncut panel of Mike Schmidt. Let's see if I can get that focused here. There we go. Mike Schmidt, Wade Boggs, and Kirk Gibson. So I didn't have this original package. It was fudge brownies, 99 cents. So that was really cool. So that would be a nice display piece. And still, he was not yet done. He had picked up a couple of these and gave me one. It is a really nice thermos that Bubbles and Ball Cards had. And I think James picked up a couple of them and gave me one. Here is their sort of social media, their Facebook group, Baubles and Ball Cards, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you want to pause the video here and look them up, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, definitely check out their channel and other Instagram accounts or social media accounts as well. So Baubles and Ball Cards. So thanks again, James, for all that stuff, being a great passenger on the way out. We just had a great time at the show. All right, next is Rocket Rick. He gave me his sort of YouTube custom card there, Rocket Rick J18, and threw in a couple cards here. We have a Dennis Eckersley, Edgar Martinez from 91 Score, and then of course a couple Wade Boggs cards here. Really cool. So thank you, Rick. Always love collecting these YouTube cards that everyone puts together. I think it's really neat that everyone, or most people, do this and do it as giveaways when we get together. And finally, one more of the custom cards. Theo Clemente Collector gave me his version, or his autographed version, from 4 collectors. Theo, thank you. And then just an amazing gift. It just was unexpected. I told the story, I think, in the day 2 wrap up, But Dave Blue Jacket 66, such a generous guy. He showed me two of these cons stickers or labels put on products for kielbasa, and he just thought they were interesting. I don't think he had seen them before. I definitely did not see them before. And he said, I was looking at them, I'm like, wow, these are really cool. And he says, you collect Yaz, right? And I said, yeah, I've done his complete run and so on. And he says, here, have this. I'm like, I just didn't expect him. Now, he didn't spend a lot on them, but that's not the point. Just the fact that, he didn't pick up, I don't think, a whole lot of cards, at least as of Friday night. And for him to give this to me, I'm just very appreciative. So, Dave, thank you very much. So this is this Yaz Kielbasa Power of cons. Now, I believe I looked this up on eBay, and the one listing that I saw, there was only one listing for this. It says it's from 1983. So this white background here is just a piece of paper to just place it on there. It is the individual sort of sticker, but I think it's pretty fragile, so they just place it on top of this white cardboard thing, and there's a sleeve in there as well protecting it. But just a really cool Yaz item that I had never seen before. So Dave, thank you so much for your generosity. It's truly appreciated. All right, on to cards. Now the first ones I'm going to show off, I was able to pick up, I was missing 17 cards from my 1978 hand set that I'm putting together. I have all the graded Hall of Famers, but I'm putting together an ungraded set. And at the show itself, I struck out. I just couldn't find anything that suited my eye appeal, and just, I don't know, I was down on my luck. I'm like, okay, well, it's just not happening at this show. But at the Friday night get together, Keith Brown watches my videos and knew I was putting together the 78 set. So when he came to the show, he brought a bunch of cards, looking to maybe make some deals and stuff, but brought some 78s for me to look at, and I found 4 that are absolutely beautiful. So the first one here is the Andre Dawson. That is minty fresh. Just look at that. This is exactly the type of cards I'm looking for my set. Here is the back. Nice as well. So that was the Andre Dawson. Then we have the George Brett. If I can get that focused. There we go. Nice as well. Maybe slightly off center top to bottom, but with these George Bretts and the 78s, just this still meets my overall eye appeal, and those corners are nice and sharp. One of the few times I'm actually looking at the corners and wanting them nice and sharp for these 78s here. So a great example of the George Brett. Then we have the Kari Yastrzemski. Another great looking example. Just love it. And there is the back. And then finally, one of the big ones, probably the third biggest one I need behind the Murray rookie and the Molitor Trammell rookie, is the Nolan Ryan. The corners aren't as nice, but overall, I think this has great eye appeal. And again, that's what I'm looking for the set. There's the back. So just so pleased that I was able to find 4 cards that I needed. So, but Keith wasn't done. He was just thumbing through some of his slab cards that he brought, and he mentioned something about working on a 75 set. And so he had some 75s that he was just thumbing through, and I spotted one that was on my 100 cards for $10,000 list. And I said, ooh, are any of these for sale? And he says, well, yeah, possibly. I said, well, can I see the Frank Robinson? He's like, oh, well, it's only a 6. I'm like, well, can I take a look at it? And I thought it was a great looking 6. Hopefully this will focus here. There we go. Just, I don't know, just a great looking copy. Again, I'm not into what the number is. To me, this looks like a great Frank Robinson card. Here is the back. And so we made a deal for this card and the 478s for $50. He asked for $50, and I thought that was a very, very reasonable offer, and so gladly paid that. So again, Keith, thank you so much for bringing these cards to the show, knowing that I needed some 78s, and you also helped me with my 100 cards for $10,000 list as well. All right, now for the cards that I picked up actually at the show. All right, the first one here is probably my deal of the show. Definitely not a high-end expensive card, but I had the sort of the joke is, or what everyone was making fun of toward the end of the day on Saturday, was I had $25 left, and I was bound and determined to spend all of my budget at the show. So I had to go around and find a card that I could pick up for $25. Well, this one table had sort of not quite a dollar box, but some boxes of lower end, lower priced vintage cards, and had a price of $40 on it. And I got the dealer to accept $25 for it, and it's the 61 Eddie Matthews in a PSA 5. Check out the centering on that. That is just a great looking card. The green down there, you don't see any of the print dots that sometimes you see on 61s, and the yellow there is nice as well. I can't believe, normally on a 40, if you see a $40 card at a show, maybe they'd go down to 35 bucks. But to go down to 25 bucks was just amazing for that dealer to do. And look at the back as well. Just a great looking card. Now this is not on any of my 100 card lists, but it is a Hall of Famer. And of course, my overall collection goal is to pick up all the Hall of Famers of all the different years. So that goes to my general vintage collection. Another sort of general collection pickup, but the one that I got a pretty good deal on, I think, is the 61 Willie McCovey. And this one is in a PSA 6. I thought the centering was really nice for a 6. Again, the coloring down at the bottom was nice. Here is the back. Really nice example of that Willie McCovey. Now this one, I didn't, from the asking price, they had a sticker on it for 55. I tried to get them down to 45, but we settled on 50. But I think 50 bucks is still a great deal for this PSA 6. So very happy to pick this Willie McCovey up. All right, now on to some more cards for my 100 cards for $10,000 list. I managed to pick up a couple others, and the next one here is the 65 Topps Yogi Berra. This was in a PSA 4, but some of these Yogi Berras, even in mid-grade, go for a decent price, at least in terms of my budget and stuff like that. Here is the back of it. So this one was sort of in another just box of random vintage cards, and there was a sign that says, hey, 20% off all the cards in these boxes. This one had a sticker of 75 bucks. So 20% off would have been $60, but I got them down. Let me see here. Let me check my list. Yep, I got them down to 50 bucks. So this was again stickered at 75. I got them down to 50 bucks. Next on the list is this gorgeous 75 tops Pete Rose in a PSA 7. Great centering, great color. None of the little fish eyes and stuff that sometimes you see with 75s. Just love that. I've been looking for the 75 Rose for a while. They always seem to be fairly high price. I didn't expect actually to get a PSA 7. I actually thought that to get a decent deal, I'd probably have to look at a 5 or a 6. But to pick this 7 up, they actually had a sticker of 60, and I got it. I had a combo deal with another card that I'm going to show off next here, and so I got this one essentially for 50 bucks. So or 55. So it was 60, and I got it for 55. So I got 5 bucks off. Not a huge discount, but still 55 bucks for the 7. Gladly paid that. And the next one in this sort of combo deal from the same seller, and another card on my 100 cards for $10,000 list, is the 66 Topps Ernie Banks. Really liked the centering on this one. I thought this was a great example for a PSA 4. Again, love PSA 4s for 50s and even some 60s cards. I think they're reasonably priced, and you can still get really nice eye appeal cards even in a PSA 4 grade. Here is the back. Now this one they had wanted $50 for, and I got for 45. So basically I got the Rose and Banks for $100, and they were asking $110. So I got $5 off each. But again, happy to pay those prices. I think basically where comps are, I got a pretty good deal. All right, the last 2 big pickups that I did, and it was within probably 10-15 minutes of walking in on the show on Saturday. I had spent probably close to, or maybe even a little bit over half of my show budget just on these 2 cards in the first 10-15 minutes of the show on Saturday. And the first one is this 62 Topps Roberto Clemente in a PSA 4. Man, that's to me, that's a sharp looking PSA 4, especially for the 62s, knowing with that, you know, the wood border there, very little chipping, maybe a little issues on the corners, which is maybe why I got a PSA 4. Overall, great example there. Here is the back. Give you a better look at that. So this one, they had a sticker of 125, and I essentially, with doing a combo deal with this last card I'm going to show off, this one essentially cost me $75. So I got them down from 125 to, let's call it 75. So really, really happy with that PSA 4 pickup. Don't have too many Clementes in my collection. I think this may be only the 3rd Clemente in my collection. And finally, the big pickup, one that I didn't think I was going to be adding any cards for my 100 cards for $100,000 list, but I ended up buying one, and it is the 57 Topps Ted Williams card number 1 in a PSA 4. Maybe not the perfect centering, but still, to me, it's a great looking example. And again, love these PSA 4 grades. Overall, really nice eye appeal. No snowing, which you get sometimes on the 57s, which some of the pictures on the 57 are already a bit dull looking, and sometimes when you get some surface scratches, it takes away from the image, but not in this case. And here is the back, really nice back as well. This one, they had an asking price of $275, and with the combination deal, I essentially got this for about $250. At least that's what I'm gonna call it. So those were the pickups at the show. And actually looking at the stuff here, I actually forgot to show off 2 other things that were gifted to me at the show, so I'm going to show them. I apologize for missing them off the bat, but Chris from Missouri was handing out some of the examples of his signature hat, and it has his Chris from Missouri. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Chris from Missouri logo on the back. So really cool giveaway. So thank you, Chris. I know a bunch of YouTubers that got these. They love these hats. So that was great. And finally, Scott Reindeer Studios had texted me maybe about a month ago and said, hey, Sports Collectors Digest. He gets the subscription. He says, hey, did you know that Wade Boggs is on the latest cover? I'm like, oh no, hey, thanks for letting me know. And when I saw him on the Friday night get together, he said, hey, did you end up picking up that Wade Boggs issue? And I said, no, I haven't gotten around to picking one off of eBay. And he said, here, you can have my copy. So he gave me, let's see if I can get this all on the screen here, his copy of the Sports Collectors Digest with Wade Boggs on the cover, and there's a few pages of articles on Wade Boggs. And he says, I hope you don't mind, but it has, you know, his shipping label. And I'll sort of, hopefully you don't have that address there. Anyway, I thought that was actually great, that so I'll always be reminded that I got this from Scott Reindeer Studios. So again, those are 2 other pickups from YouTubers. And so we're going to finish the video off with some scenes from the show itself. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.